We're with Eddie Wood at Born Free, Texas. How's the show been for you?
It's been good. It's been good. Foot traffic was hit or miss as far as people rolling. Like, it'd be people flooding in, and then there'd be like dry spells, flood in, dry spells. But overall, definitely doing it again.
Yeah, hell yeah. Where are you from?
Houston, Texas.
Houston, Texas? All your life?
Well, born in Houston, lived and raised in Katy,
Okay.
West Houston. And then moved to Shreveport for a year, and then San Antonio for 5 years, then back to Houston.
Cool. When did you get into motorcycles?
Probably first bike I ever bought myself was 2010. So that was what, 13 years ago. First actual bike I bought it.
Yeah.
Before that it was like dirt bikes and little shit like that, 3-wheelers and everything like that.
Sweet. What was the first bike you got?
That's the embarrassing one. So I'm not like one of those like the Gold Star gay or the Gold Star Harley dude.
Yeah.
Like I had it was a Honda. It was a Honda first
Okay.
bike. Had it for I don't know, like probably 2-3 weeks, and then fucking just started chopping it all up and everything. But that didn't look as cool, and I had homies.
Yeah, you're like, let me change this thing up.
Yeah, for sure. And then did all that, and then I don't know, had that for a little bit, but I don't know, maybe a year went by before I bought my first Harley after that.
So were you already into like the chopper stuff when you decided to start doing the Honda like that?
Yeah, so
Okay.
my buddies, it's the same shit like everyone else. Like there's the skateboard dudes, like the BMX dudes, that went like the fixed gears and all of this shit, like my homies stuff like that, and then they went into the chopper scene or whatever, like everybody does. And I had a bunch of buddies that were building XS choppers at the time.
Okay, yeah.
And then a couple of buddies like little sporty chops and shit. None of them like really like quote unquote cool shit as far as like oh fuck man, look at that, you know. It's just like hey man, this is cheap, let's build it and fucking see what happens. And so that was what kind of like pushed me in that like direction, seeing their stuff, going okay, I want to start doing this. And then after I got involved and started doing it, it just kept going from there. And then like pretty much anything I've ever owned, I've never left anything stock my entire life. Everything's just different. So
when did that translate over into like Hellbent crew and the shop?
Hellbent started with actually my homies that got me into the bike stuff in officially 2016 when we first started, and that was just in my buddy's garage and then in my garage. And that was when I bought my first donor bike for a chopper build, and it was an 81 XS 650 that I bought just to fucking pretty much fuck up everything I could on it to learn how I wanted the aesthetics and shit like that. Because we've always, like before that, I mean, my whole life, from 20 to 30, I was in the oil field. So I worked in the oil gas industry for drilling contractors. So mechanical, everything like that, all that stuff I've done for a long time. So anyone that does any type of like mechanic stuff, it pretty much translates once you start going to everything else, like the principles. And so once we started doing that, we got that rolling, and then we realized this is costing money, so we need to figure out a way to pay for it. And then another buddy of ours was screen printing. So he said, hey man, will you all make some shirts, and we do the shows and set up and sell shirts and shit. And that was pretty much what rolled it into, hey man, we need to pay for this shit somehow. So we started screen printing to go to shows, and to give us, a place to hang out. You get a booth, and now you got a place to kick back versus fucking walking around. And so we did our first show. It was Nitty Gritty. It was November 2017 was the first show we did, Nitty Gritty. And we had my XS that was done, a buddy of mine, Sporty, that we did, and then I think another XS with us. And that was when I met Eric and Zombie Mike and all those dudes. Should I touch the mic?
No, you're good.
But yeah, and then just been rolling ever since that. We did the shop. We got the shop kind of like when I left the oil field in 2018, pretty much thought about moving into something, buddies have always been doing the, hey man, let's just fucking give it a shot. And then I was like, well, fuck, I got a severance package. They want to go on. I was like, fuck, let's see what happens. So we signed the lease in 2018 for the shop. And after dealing with Houston for a long time, trying to get permits, after 6 months, we finally were able to open. And then it's just been evolving ever since. When we first did it, the whole idea was build like a skate shop style thing, but towards motorcycles, to where you've got a bunch of parts, a bunch of stuff like that towards shit that like we were doing that people would be interested in. And then you start realizing, then like sell the apparel and then do stuff like that. And you start realizing you're in there doing that. People, well, hey man, I want to buy this. Will you put this on? Or hey, will you do this? And then, so then it starts, you start with like 25%, service area, 75% retail, and then it starts bleeding into now the shop's right at 1,700 square feet. And I think maybe the front area that's like the showroom parts and all that shit's probably 300 square feet of it now,
Yeah.
and the rest of it's all lifts and tables and all other shit back there, which is definitely worked out. It's evolving always, and so a lot of pivoting and shit, but
Yeah.
it's fun.
How long y'all do bike nights and stuff out there, right?
Yeah, we do bike nights. We were doing them once a month, and then COVID hit. And that really fucking crippled fucking everything. Shows, 18 months, no shows, and then at that time the company was running to where like the shop shit paid for the shop shit, the apparel shit paid for the apparel shit. And then it got to where, okay, the shop shit's paying for fucking everything, and the next thing you know, you're burning fucking cash to try and keep it going. We were lucky enough to keep it going. A lot of people, you know, weren't so lucky, just in business period during that time. So we got it rolling. So we had a bit of a hiccup with the bike nights, and so we had a real big momentum. And we had to stop, and then now we're kind of going back to once a month, getting it rolling, and just keep it going. And they're big, like I don't know, probably 100-something bikes, give or take. You know, they're
that's awesome.
Buddy surfs up. We do food there, keg beer, all that other shit. And we've had the Travis Scott head a couple times, and the incident happened at Astro World, so then we quit putting it up.
Yeah.
Bad taste. Yeah, one of our homies bought that.
I mean, y'all got a pretty solid, like, I mean, group of cats that ride. Houston's, I mean, pretty heavy with all the guys riding. How's that community around, in and around Houston for y'all?
So the biggest thing in Houston is there's so many fucking people, but it's such a big area. It's trying to get everybody to the same spot at the same time.
Like herding cats, trying to get everybody in the same spot. Yeah.
That's the hardest part, man. So like when we do the bike nights, man, it's more or less like our way of just like, hey man, thanks for like trying to give back. You know, the beer's free, but people tip, or we do like little beer tickets or whatever. That way we can at least make sure we cover the cost of the keg. You know, because if you're losing money doing them, you can't.
It can't sustain.
But if you can just break even on them all and just give people a place, like I said, we don't even, you know, we have fucking music and stuff playing, but you got like food, beer, and just create an environment for people that maybe don't know other people in the community to get together and hang out. It's a way for us to say, hey y'all, thanks for everything. Here's a cool spot, come hang out, drum up a little bit of business, get, you know, some people that maybe didn't know about the shop and so that, which is the weirdest thing. The majority of people that come in and say, hey man, I never knew this there, live in the neighborhood where our shop is. Our shop's over in the second ward, east end of Houston. And there's so many people that, and so I'm like, oh, I guess my marketing's fucking terrible because they're like 2-3 blocks down the street and they're like, oh man, I've been riding for 20 years. I never knew y'all were here. And
that's crazy.
We're coming up on 5 years. It'll be 5 years. Oh fuck, it's 5 years last month being at the shop.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, now we're gonna renew the lease with the gentrified pricing, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, you skyrocket up. Start selling the shirts for $80.
Fuck, I'm gonna have to. Put a little fucking hang tags, make them limited.
Oh yeah. So tell me about your Evo chopper.
So that was, I don't know, I've always just been into Evos. I've always liked Evos. I got one fucking tattooed on me right there because I'm a fucking idiot and I couldn't afford a shovel at the time. And so we did like, you know, I was just, I built that bike. And at the time the shop was called Rock and Roll Hot Rods. We and a couple other dudes in Houston got together. We wanted to put on like a show downtown, and it was right there by the Continental Club. And so I said, well, fuck, I want to build this chopper I've been wanting to build anyway. So I said, well, fuck, I'm going to make sure it's done for the show. And that was the first evolution of it, where it was just the Craft Tech frame, 30-degree rake setup, nothing wild on it, 2-under Springer, 21 front, coffin tank, the original paint setup, all everything done. And I rode it like that for, fuck, I don't know, 3-4 months. And then like, fuck this, I want a longer front end. And so we went 4-over with the Springer. And then I was like, well, fuck this. And then, I don't know, I rode that thing everywhere, man. Arkansas, fucking that. Like, it was, you know, the day that it was the workhorse, it would ride everywhere.
Yeah.
It'd be covered in oil, blowing shit everywhere, but it made it, you know, never broke. Or if it broke down, it was like one of those standard shit, like everyone, like 10 minutes, you're back rolling.
Yeah, well, that's the beauty of the Evo.
Yeah, so we were doing that, you know, and I don't know, I just fell in love with it. And then I was like, one day, like, I think I had like fucking rust, like an unpainted tank on it and like some other shit. My buddy just said, you know, you own a shop, you should probably maybe make your bike, make your bike look like you fucking give a fuck about like quality versus just, hey man, that's that fucking little fucking thing that he just keeps rolling, you know. So we did that, pulled it all apart. My buddy Jason, who's the Squid Speed, Jason Remington, he did the frame stretch on it for me. So we went up 4, out 2, changed the rake out to like 30, probably like 33 or so. I did all that, and then when we got that done, we went ahead and I wanted to do the frame white. So I had this vision of like this, I can't remember, I think it was a dyno or it was one of the GT, whatever, those older mountain bikes like in the 80s, I mean not mountain bikes, BMX bike in the 80s. They had the white mags on it, and it was like the matte satin black frame, and then the white grips, so with the white Like, I've always thought that looked cool, and I was like, fuck, I'm gonna do my frame white, and then had sick pinstripe it. Bones the one that painted it all, and then did a different coffin tank that was bigger, more volume. That way it could be like, because before it was fuck dude like 60 miles, and that was really cramping.
Oh yeah.
Traveling with anybody, and so we started doing that and got it redid and went fuck the front end now. I think the front end's like 10 over narrow glide setup we did shaved, and I like the setup now. The fucking it's good and ride the shit out of it too. But I don't know. I've got a tank on it right now that's unpainted because I forgot to put the other tank back on it, the coffin tank. But I think we're gonna. I don't know. When I get back to Houston, I think I'm gonna redo it again. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know it's easier to redo the same bike versus buy another bike just because it's cheaper.
Yeah. Well, and there's always something you want to redo. And so when I did Michael earlier, he just redid his bike. I mean,
yeah, he didn't like his paint job so much he dumped it on 35. Yeah, we were together. We're rolling like this. I'm just fucking. We were left lane. I think we were like 85. We had just made a comment at the bike shop before that about going like, hey man, these motherfuckers are running good. Yeah, we were like an hour out of Pipe Creek or whatever. And I hear this noise. I look back and all I see is like I look at my shot. I see his bike sliding all across fucking 35. Shooting you go over there and he's like standing up like, fuck dude. And we get over and look. He sucked his fucking sleeping bag up in the fucking back tire and locked it. He fucking just bucked him right off. Yeah, fucked it all up. He went to the fucking ER and they all made fun of him because
I mean he was okay, but
he looked like he fell running like fucking running down the street. Like there was like hand sprays. I mean, I get it's a traumatic experience and
yeah, I mean
adrenaline dump.
That adrenaline gets you shaky.
The shock set in after the adrenaline dump. He felt weird, but we just all gave him shit the whole time for it. But yeah, he redid it again. We got it rolling, like kind of patched up, and then he wanted another evolution of it. So that's when he got with Daryl, and he said, "Hey, I'm gonna put this tank," and then did this fender on it, and did another one. But now, I mean, the tank setup he's got on now, I mean, it looks like a whole new bike, and it's clean. I like this versus that sporty thing he had on.
Yeah. Who did the paint on your coffin tank?
Rob Letty.
Rob Letty?
Yeah,
that
Bones,
awesome.
same dude that painted Mike's bike the first go around, the blue flame ones. He does all the shop paint work and stuff. He does a lot of dudes in Houston's paint. So he does a lot of good stuff. He'll be redoing the bike again, I guess, when I redo it.
What made you put the design and everything on?
Oh, the Lady Guadalupe?
Yeah.
I'm really into well, I'm Christian, but like I'm really into like I enjoy which is kind of funny with the name, but I enjoy the I don't know, I've always enjoyed like just religious art and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
And everything, and like the look of it and the meaning behind it, so that, and like I said, the Our Lady Guadalupe, and so did it on there. I've got it tattooed on the back of my head.
Oh, that's awesome.
Real big, and so I don't know, it just fit, and we did it on there. The original idea I wanted to do, but I got 86 was in The Omen when the horror movie, the nanny goes, Damien, this is for you. She jumps up the window and hangs herself. So it was originally going to be her being hung was going to be on the thing, and everyone's like, yeah, man, I don't think that's a good idea. It's probably going to bad juju.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll just.
I mean, I can see where it'd be cool though.
Yeah, it'd be definitely something to put on the wall, but.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like that. I've always had a thing for that like religious symbolism, stuff like that. You ever seen Austin Maples? His like shop set up and the wall he has, it's all like the old like fine line like Jesus paintings and he just put out a book, I think, like a flash book that was all like religious.
Oh hell yeah!
I think that stuff's super cool.
It's just timeless, man. Yeah. It just looks good, and I've got in the shop. I got a buddy that like you wouldn't believe it like if you saw him, but he's like the fucking king of antiquing, like finding like honey holes and shit. Yeah. I've got chalk statues of Virgin Mary in my shop that he picked up, all these old wooden rosaries, prayer boxes, these old paintings and stuff like from the early 1900s and stuff that came out of churches, like all in the shop, all done over on the wall and stuff. And it's all stuff that he scores because he works oil fields, so he's constantly on the road traveling.
He's
everywhere. All these small towns, and he always just hits them up. He's always got a lot of good stuff. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just the look of it. It's timeless, so I just gravitate towards it. And we did a shirt with a similar logo on it and everything. And
that's awesome. So you don't drink, do you?
No.
How long you been sober?
Sober, 13 years.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah, it's got
it's been about 6 years since I stopped drinking.
Yeah.
So how is it like going around these shows and stuff? Because I know there's a lot of cats that think that, I mean, you can't do this kind of stuff without partying.
Oh yeah, like for sure. Well, that's the biggest thing, dude. Like, especially when we first started, like, because like my homies and stuff like that, they're all still partying and all that shit. And so like when it first kicked off, and we were doing a lot more of the like TNA shit, like fucking, which we need to get back to that. That's a fucking moneymaker for sure.
Yeah.
But when we were doing all that stuff, you would get like it had this like big, like kind of like a, I don't know, had like the party brand kind of vibe to it. And I remember when I did a podcast with Jace, whatever, he like talked about it, and when he found out I was sober, he goes, how does that work with like a party brand? I was like, oh, you know, I got homies that party and stuff like that. But I don't know, it's just like one of those things where you just, I don't know, I just remember what it was like drinking and how I acted and how I felt. And then like coming out to these things, just going like, fuck it, I don't know how these dudes do it. Party all night, then get up and fucking work and sit in the sun and shit. Like, fuck that, dude. I remember fucking back in the day, you'd fucking drink all night and wake up, force yourself to throw up, and be sitting out like, you know, puking in the morning to work for like the first 2 hours and go back to shit. Yeah, I don't think I can do it now. I'm too old.
Yeah, no, that stuff, that takes a load. I was talking about the little bit of sleep we got coming here. And I mean, probably 2 hours of sleep before we had to get up and drive all the way out here from Little Rock. And I was like, there was a time for like 2 years where I lived off like 2 hour naps twice a day. And I was like, I don't know how I kept going like that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it's just the youth.
Yeah,
and then the drive to knowing that, hey man, if I can just push it for another 6, 7 hours, I can get fucked up.
Yeah, we can take it one more time.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So y'all got any more plans for the rest of the year?
High Tide Chopper Show, November 1st, I believe. I think it's the Friday, the first Friday at Lone Star. They're doing it. That's the one with Daryl and Eric. So
that's gonna be a good time.
Yeah. So that's gonna be cool. We're gonna do that, and then I think that's like it for the fucking whole year. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's
pretty much it. And then I think we're gonna. Then they've got, you know, come what, end of February, March, shit'll kick up again. Start doing shows again. That's the biggest thing. I think next year I want to try and do more. I don't know. I say every year I want to do more shows, but like I don't know. It's hard logistic-wise at the shop now because you're tied to deadlines on other people's stuff. To where it'd be so cool to be able to say, "Hey man, we're all gonna fucking roll out here and do this," and it's like, "Fuck, dude. Okay, cool. 2 weeks, let's roll." And you know, but then you got, okay, I'm not gonna earn any money for 2 weeks other than what I make out here. But at the same time, I then can't take any work in before I go because then there's gonna be a 2 week wait, or I have to tell everyone the shit that's in there. Hey man, it's gonna be another 2 weeks. This isn't. When people call you and realize you're having fun on bikes and they're waiting for you to finish their bike, they get pretty pissed.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
So, and that's the biggest thing, man. Just that's the big main focus now is shows, quick shows, gone, come back, and then in and out stuff as far as shop stuff. Quit taking in long drawn out shit, and just, you know, have like 1 or 2 things that I just, you know, cooking, percolating, or whatever the fuck you want to say, and then have like the fucking in Tuesday, out Thursday, just quick, like late model shit, whether it be fucking suspension exhaust, bars, fucking performance shit, stuff like that, you know, stuff like that makes money and it's quick.
Yeah, that ends up being like the bread and butter for a shop.
Yeah, service shit, stuff like that actually you make money on. Cool shit doesn't pay the fucking bills.
No.
As much as you want it to.
Yeah.
It normally doesn't. Unless you get to that certain level where people are just saying, hey dude, however you want it to look, this is this, which you've got guys out here that are at that level where people will call them and say, hey man, I want you to build me a bike. Tell me how much, and just fucking go on it. And if you're doing it like that and you do 3 or 4 bikes a year, you're making a pretty good living. But for us, it's, you know, we're still just like a mom and pop fucking shop in Houston, and we're like the only one still kind of like inside of town, more or less. There's a lot of them all moved out, you know, suburbs and stuff. So that's one thing we got going.
That's awesome, dude. Well, hey, I appreciate you coming out and talking to us.
No worries. Hopefully it was worth something.
Dude, I think it is.
And you say that I ramble a lot.
Oh well, it's a lot of rambling. I mean, we're just out here talking and hanging out, but hey, appreciate you, brother.
Man, thank you.
Yes, sir. Hey, be good.